We all hit bumps. Yet we're not defined by the bumps we hit. We're defined by how we respond to those bumps. We hit COVID bumps. We hit burnout bumps. We hit culture bumps. We're not defined by these bumps. I was thinking about Maya and what you do, and I was thinking the people that should be at this conference are the ones that aren't here.
Stop the excuses. I could have just given myself excuses too. But I believe you're in this program because you look up to the consultant, you want to try to get your business there. And then when we start going, you want to give up or make excuses. I said it in the beginning, it's a grind, but the thing that I didn't have, that you all have, is a team that's dedicated to pulling you along and getting you there with a blueprint that works.
He's Metz. He's Tass. It's the Metzger Tassoul Show.
Mr. Shane?
Well, good afternoon.
How are you?
Oh, there's my name. I'm well, and you?
I'm good. I'm good. Hey, you need to get some rest. You look so tired. Sorry.
Because I get exhausted from listening to you.
But look at where that got you in life.
Yeah, look at where it got me.
Oh my goodness. Did you find some flights that work for November?
Yeah, I did. It's just, I was a little shocked, if I'm being honest, at how expensive they were. I say expensive, comparatively.
Right.
Yeah, we're good. We're all set.
Yeah, I agree. That was a lot. There was a lot. Anyway, dude, can you believe, and martial arts industry, can you all believe that we are in the fourth quarter of 2025? What is going on? It's unbelievable.
A little bit. Bear with me 1 second.
Guys, let's all just take a moment of silence while Tass finishes up his game of Candy Crush.
No, look, see? There, that's better, isn't it? Lights.
Oh, nice.
Halo. I don't want to be like an angel.
Well, I'm hazy. Look at how hazy I am.
I was just trying to get the lighting stitch fixed. So
I got you. So anyway, how we ready? Are we excited and ready for fourth quarter?
well, I hope so, because we're in it.
Yeah, we are. But by the way, how many people do you think are ready?
I think it might have snuck up on a lot of people.
You're
Is that what
you're
your question is?
breaking
How many
up.
people that
Tass.
think are ready? That I should be fine. Can you hear me?
All right. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think it may have snuck up on a lot of people, is what I was saying.
100%. I think so too. But you know, this year, there was industry wide. You know, this year started off for a lot of people a little down, maybe, and still a bit of a struggle. And I've seen now everybody is finding not everybody, but I would say a lot of the people in the bubble, I will just tell you guys, are finding their groove. And if you're not one of those people, it's time to find it now in the fourth quarter of the year. And whatever you've done this year in the first three quarters, whether you're down or up from last year, let's make the fourth quarter of this year a record quarter, or at least beat last year's fourth quarter. I mean, let's make it happen, regardless of what the past is. Can't change the third quarter, second quarter, or first quarter, but you can definitely change the fourth quarter. But for the majority of you, when the numbers came in and a lot of us had a phenomenal third quarter, we got to keep that momentum and continue that wave into 2026.
Here's how I know that there's people behind the fourth quarter. Miss Shelley Ross just posted, catalog just arrived this morning, helps to motivate the wrap up. Like, I was ready for it, but oh my God, the holiday catalog are already out. Okay, I'm surprised. That one caught me off guard, right? It's just crazy how fast things go, and sometimes how we think we have it all. Listen, I want to speak to the whole thing that you just said about the year starting harder and all the things. And look, I mean, we personally have been through the last 24 months. Well, as of 2 months ago, right? 24 months of just trying to figure out the marketing piece, right? And we kept jumping and trying to figure out what was going on and what was happening because the marketing was dwindling. Our attrition, and I want to make sure everyone understands this, because it's important that you know, is it your attrition, right? Or if you want to call it retention, whatever you want to figure out. I analyzed our attrition or retention rates for the last 2 to 3 years. And we've always been good, right? I don't know that we've been great. We're in the 4s, right? Typically, we're in the 4s. But we're never in the 5s or the 6s. I mean, years and years ago, I think we're at 5.5 or something. And then occasionally we get in the 3s. We start with a 3, but typically we're in the 4s. That's where we've been. And so I had to analyze, well, are we having like instructor challenges? Are we having a hard time keeping people? The answer is no. That's not what the challenge was. The challenge for us was in the marketing piece. And I said this years ago, and I'm going to stick to it. But I said someday, I remember 10 years ago, I could put an ad on Facebook 6 weeks for $69 and people would buy online and they'd be lined up to come in. So it's what happened. Now you can do the same ad and you won't get anybody, relatively speaking, right? Now, are there pockets where it still works for you? Yes. But my argument would be that for most of us, it worked way better 10 years ago than it's working today. Yet we keep adding more ad spend and trying to figure out, do an AI ad and do this and do that. And we're trying to change the way that we're marketing on that platform. And maybe I'm totally off base here, but I'm just giving you my experience. For 24 months, I fought that battle and I kept losing and losing and losing and losing. We did not have an attrition problem. We had a marketing problem. And I remember feeling beat up, like, gosh, why is this just not working? Because when your marketing is not working and you have a good attrition rate, you're still doing what over time? The trajectory is going down over time, right? That's not a fun place to be. And it's interesting what happened in one afternoon in about a 90-minute time span. And this is what I think is important. It was back to school season. I said, enough is enough. Enough's enough. I need to make a switch. I need to make a change. You've said this before. Life's about decisions. What was the decision I made? And for some of you, you might tune out when I say this to you, but I need you to understand the concept of what I'm going to say because things can change in a matter of 90 minutes or less. I made a decision. The decision that I made was I'm going to reach out and I'm going to get these 2-week courses and PE classes for the day set up in the schools. And I leveraged my work by utilizing a connection that we had in the school that connected me, literally gave me, I've said this, I think, before on the show, 10 or 11 different names of principals and PE teachers with their cell phone numbers, right? So literally, I end up contacting I contacted 4 or 5 people on there. We set up 4 PE teacher for the days for four elementary schools. We have 2 more set up for after the new year, right? But those 4 are all happening right now. And I can give you like live numbers, but I mean, I think right now, one school that we're doing the 2-week course at, we're at 31 people that are enrolled at the 2-week course at the elementary school. The other program starts on Monday, and that program right now is at 20 or 22 people. The other one is at 15 people. That starts in 2 weeks from now. And so those programs will be somewhere close to 30 as well. And then the 4th school, we start in like 2 weeks. My point is over 4 schools, we'll have over 100 people over 100 people participating in a 2-week course at the elementary school level. Well, what happens with those people at the end of the 2-week course? Well, we bring them to our martial arts school. We have a graduation. They break a board. They earn their white belt. And we will enroll, I know statistically on average, we're typically the 70% school, but I'm going to say we're going to enroll 40 to 50% of those 100 people. It will be massive amount of enrollments for us, by the way. For some of you that have 500 students in your school and you enroll 50 students a month, that's not a big deal for you. That's 3 weeks worth of work for you, right? But for our school, that's a massive amount of students, right? And so it's fun to see those things working. And then what happens is you start to generate momentum. But all of that happened because I sat down, decided to make a decision and make some phone calls and take action to doing something different than what I had done before. We've always done it in the past, but I've been trying to put all my effort into let's do social media. And I want to be clear. What I'm saying isn't that you shouldn't do social media marketing, because for some of you, you crush it. But what I will say is what happens when it stops working? And what I also will say is, well, what if you did social media and you did X, Y, or Z, whatever that is for you? But it's like this battle we've talked about doing birthday parties and not signing up students and doing another birthday party, not signing up. How long are you going to run that grind before you either A, figure it out, or B, say, we're going to do something different, right? And that's what we did. And we chose to do not even something different. We got back to our roots, back to the grassroots marketing on the stuff that we know works to make a difference. So if you've been banging your head against the wall because things just aren't working for you, you got to make some decisions. And it was a great decision that we made, because not only me, but our entire team is excited. They're pumped up because we have momentum and it feels like we're doing something again, as opposed to the same old, same old. And how long have you been doing the same old, same old? And what decision will you make that will be different? Because listen, I just lived it for 24 months and it's not a fun headspace to live in. We can say, yeah, things are good. Business is unbelievable. Okay, unbelievable what? Unbelievably good or unbelievably bad? I don't know what that means, right? And so I'm just saying from personal experience that sometimes you have to mix things up and you have to change things up and you have to go back to the roots. And by the way, is it work? Yeah, it's friggin' work. Our guys are in the elementary schools, 2 days, all day, plus classes at night. It's work. But you know what else is? Jay Abraham said this a lot of years ago. He said, I think it's easier to be successful than it is to be unsuccessful. And I remember hearing it the first time. I go, that doesn't make any sense. Then living both of those lives, it's much easier to be successful than unsuccessful. So there's my rant.
Yeah, it's about focus. And it's about focusing in the right direction. But here's a tip, guys. So the title today is what's the one thing you can implement today to generate more revenue in your school today, like when the show is over.
I can tell Bitcoin.
What's that? Right. Yep. Open up a Coinbase account and just get it done.
Not financial.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, something like that.
That's a joke. No, there's a couple things. Somebody posted just recently on Century a question about what do you charge for family members? I don't even know what the question was. And I really like to read the answers. And, go read the answers. Go to Century's Martial Arts School Network. Read the answers on questions like that. And you're going to see that the answers are belief-driven and not data-driven. And that is the biggest mistake. If you are running your business based on beliefs and making decisions based on your beliefs, 9 times out of 10, you're not making the right decisions for what's best for the business, because it's your belief system as opposed to data, right? The numbers don't care about your feelings. The numbers just tell you the reality, the truth. So, number one, what is it that you charge? Let me just ask whoever wants to participate, monthly fee. I don't want to know about family plans. I don't want to know about option A's, B's, C's, just your standard option D or your regular monthly rate. How much do you charge per month to take lessons at your school? And I know you have a different one for little dragons and this age and that age and 6 months and month to month and 1 year.
Pick one and tell me how much do you charge per month.
Whatever, yeah, exactly. Whatever your main program is, right? And it's so funny to say your option B's and C's and D's, because you know that we're talking to a lot of our people when we're not here. Some people are like, what are you talking about? Option D, what is that, right? Well, if you were a part of the family, you would know.
So come on, guys, just put in, what do you charge monthly? It's not this isn't giving anything away. It's just participate here. What do you charge monthly? So sorry guys, it's unbelievable what happens once you hit the 50s. The eyes go. It's unbelievable. 169, 199, 169, 159, 169, 165, 169. Keep them coming, guys, because I'm real curious here. I mean, we have people on here, and I have 3, 6, 7 people. I mean, anybody else want to share just what you charge monthly? I mean, it's public info, right? If anyone walked into your school and you sat down with them, you'd have to disclose it. I mean, 149, Mr. Hoff, 184 a month. If you know, you know. That's right.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised that you knew what that was.
Hey, come on. I have a 17-year-old daughter and an 11-year-old daughter. So $100 for adult members, and once a week, $50 adults, planning to increase with the new year. Okay, great. Awesome. Watch this. Did you guys know, and I said this in my meeting, so kids, 139, 149, raising to 159, 149. Yep, Miss Ross after the call. So I did a meeting for all of our CMA affiliate schools on Monday. And one of the things I brought up was, rates, right? And by the way, there's a lot more information that goes into what are we going to charge. But this is going to be universal for all of you. And this is not the one hack, everybody. This is just a bonus point. Ooh. Go on to ChatGPT, go on to Google, go wherever you want to go. And did you know, put into ChatGPT, or again, Google, or whatever you want to believe, and whatever you were charging in 2020. Now, 2020 was COVID, but it doesn't matter. Whatever you were charging in 2020, just put, for example, I put this in and I just said $159 in 2020 is equivalent to what in 2025? Well, $159 in 2020 is equivalent to $198.75 in 2025. So let's just round it by a quarter, 25 cents, and say $199. So now, whatever you were charging in 2020, what is that equivalent to in 2025? And are you charging that? And if the answer is you are not charging that and you are below that, you've actually lowered your rates in the last 5 years. You've lowered your rates because we have a mental block. And I'm guilty of this too. What do we do when we raise rates? You might raise it $10. I do that because I have a whole team running 9 schools and I need them to believe in the rate increase and not believe like, oh my gosh, we can't raise it $20 or $30. We can't. I mean, I'm not comfortable with that. However, when we show the data, not belief systems, but say, hey, did you have a problem charging $159 in 2020? Which, by the way, we were at $169, I think, but $159 in 2020. Did you have a problem then? No. Well, that's the same as $199 today as far as buying power. It's the same thing as far as what that can buy you today. So that's number one, adjust accordingly. And there's a right way and a wrong way to raise rates. You're not going to go to all your students and say, guys, I apologize. Next month, our rates are going to this now. You don't do that.
I don't know. Netflix does that.
Yeah, you're right. But no, they don't, Tass. What you need to do is you don't say that. You send an email to all your parents letting them know.
They've been charged up the fee. By the way, last week you probably noticed our rates went up.
Right. So my point is that's number one. Really see what you're charging compared to what you were charging. What are you charging compared to what you were? So it's irrelevant to anyone else in the industry. It's irrelevant to anyone around you. It's irrelevant to your community. Inflation's inflation. If you were charging X in 2020, are you charging the equivalent in 2025?
You know, it's interesting. I want to just comment on a couple things there. So I don't even know why I just thought of this, but it was weeks ago that I went down to the farmer's market, right? And we do it a couple times a summer because summers are short here. And of course, at the farmer's market, they have all the local, literally the local fields and stuff bring in their food. And a lot of them are families, right? Different families that come in and bring in their fruits and vegetables and whatever and set up for the day. So it's pretty much fresh flowers, vegetables, both fresh flowers, vegetables, fresh flowers, honey, fresh flowers, vegetables. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? And it was interesting because I think it's, I don't know, it maybe goes like 8 to noon or 8 to 1. And we're like, yeah, maybe we'll go catch the last part of it. And so when we went there, I'm looking at the prices for whatever, a thing of, green peppers or jalapeno peppers. And I'm looking and I'm watching, and the price is getting changed. And I'm like, huh, the price wasn't toward the end of the day, the price was being changed. And I'm like, oh, interesting. So when the end of the farmers markets happen, of course, they're reducing prices to try and get rid of the produce. Why? Because it's perishable, right? By the way, so are your martial arts skills. We don't use them, but it's perishable. But then I remember I saw this thing of jalapeno peppers. This was a different time of the farmers market. And I'm like, wow, those are beautiful. So I got the jalapeno peppers, got them. I forget exactly what it was. I'm going to say it was $6, right, for the huge basket of jalapeno peppers. I took like 7 steps and looked across, and it was $2 less for what seemed to be the same size, right? My point is that that was right in front of me, and I really didn't care, if I'm being honest. I was like, okay, whatever. It was a difference in price. But you all understand, number one, people don't shop martial arts, right? People don't shop martial art lessons. And there's vendors up and down this street that are charging, let's do the math on that. What is it? 40% difference in pricing from jalapeno peppers from $6 to $4, 30%, whatever the difference, 35%. It's a 35% difference in the price. Some of you may not look at it and go, well, it's $2. But it's a 35% price difference. So when I hear about people that say, well, in our town, sir, they charge X for this school, martial arts school charges that, and they charge this and they charge that. I don't care what they charge, because A, we're not set up at a farmer's market where people are going up and down checking out martial arts schools and buying based off of price, number one. People don't shop what we do, and if they do...
Yes, hold on. You're going to have people saying, but I know people come in. There's always some people that will say, well, I know the guy.
That's
it's
correct.
Rarely, and it's the minority of people.
That's correct. And what I was just going to say is, and if they do, it's okay, because if you have a great product, people are going to purchase and buy what they feel is going to best benefit them.
Value. Yes.
Of value, right? That's what it is. And so just make sure you have the value. And I would tell anybody, if you're going to raise your rates and you have horrible value and all you do is have a 4 o'clock class time and the kids run around and you throw dodgeballs, probably not worth what you're asking right now, much less charging more for that. So it is about the value. And I just it frustrates me, right, when I talk with clients that compare themselves to other martial arts schools. I'll tell you what you should do instead. Compare yourself against the gymnastics school. Compare yourself against the cheerleading school or the dance school. Then come back. Not just one dance school, by the way. Several. Dance, cheer, gymnastics. Then go back and reevaluate your prices. And you may be shocked and think to yourself, well, I know we provide more value than what they do, but they're charging 2-3x what we charge. Because that's a fact if you go look at that. And so the last thing I'm going to say is, in your, this is what I don't need to consult Mr. Metzger, but I would tell Mr. Metzger, when he goes to his team and says that they're going to raise rates, their new pricing, I'm sure, is going to be $199 down and $249 a month for the basics program, because that's what that's where the market is today. And then everyone's going to freak out. All of his team's going to freak out. He goes, okay, fine, we'll just do $197. And it just makes it an easier thing to palate, because we all think that when we go to charge more, there's this mental thing that starts to happen in our minds. And because we're owners and we provide the service, I understand how that feels. When I worked for my parents at the grocery store, and I would ring up an order of $300 of groceries, which back in the day, by the way, was 3 cartloads full of groceries. Today it's about a half a cart, right? But it used to be 3 cartfuls of groceries. I had zero problem asking for $300. It was, here's the stuff. Here's what it is. Give me the money. But somehow we have this disconnect when we ask for money for something that we do. And this is where you have to really, truly understand the value in what you do. And this happens sometimes when you do an upgrade in your school. A parent, I just heard this from a client. I was reminded of this happened years ago to me. It's a communication problem, but it's an interesting challenge. When a parent says, man, I just don't know if we can do that. And we're like, okay, well, help me understand. Well, I mean, we're already paying $169 a month for the basics program, and you want another $194 a month for the next pro. Oh, no. That replaces the old pro. It's $25 difference, not another $194 a month, right? My point in saying that is they were actually considering enrolling into the higher level program, thinking it was going to be an additional almost $200 a month on top of what they were paying. So do we think we could maybe charge 10 or 20 bucks a month more for our base program? I don't think it's that hard.
But this is the deal, though. Doesn't matter what we think, right? It matters about the world we live in. And Mr. Landis posted that 159 in 2021 is 190 today.
Yeah.
159 in 2020 is like 199 today. So move on from COVID to go to 21. If you were at 159, it's still 190. But maybe you were at 89 in 2021. Well, what is that today? And are you charging at least that? At least that. That's number one. Number two, here's the secret sauce right here. We've said this for years and years and years. People have heard it, but then I see the question. We're not hitting the audience, Tass. We're just not hitting the audience in the martial arts industry. We're not hitting a big enough people because it's the same questions over and over, in these forums or in these Facebook groups. But you got to stop charging memberships and start charging for specific programs. Again, it does not matter what you believe. It's what is reality as far as we always talk about student value. And maybe somebody says there's no such thing as student value. Well, at the end of the day, here's how simple it is. If you run a martial arts school and you run a school that has 100 students with a business operating with X amount of students, 100, 500, 200, 150, whatever that number is, how much money is your business generating with that number of customers, consistent customers in your business? Those consistent customers might be 10 out, 10 in, 10 out, 10 in. It might be, but if you're hovering around X number of students, how much revenue does your business generate on average with that amount of students? And we call that student value, just a customer value, right? And that is the number that is probably the most important number. And
can I answer?
Surely.
No, Shane. To Mr. Richard Elswick, is there a rough percentage increase to attrition rate when increasing your fees?
Yeah, 0.
Thank you for answering that. He just can't help himself, everybody. I'm going to tell you this, that there actually is an increase in retention when you raise your rates. And that is not theory. That is not hyperbole. That is actual truth. Because when we upgrade somebody, our people that are in a higher level training program, paying more money, stay longer than people that aren't.
By the way, though, if you don't do it the right way, it could be a massive attrition hit to your school. And that's also the facts. You can really hurt your retention rate if you raise rates and you don't do it the right way. Listen, this is a perfect example of people in the industry when they say, Well, I listened to what you said. I did what. It's not what you do, it's how you do. That is the difference. And it's all about presentation. And there's a right way, and there's a better way, and there's also wrong ways to do things. and so it's a dangerous deal when we do these shows, because if anyone gets inspired and says, you know what, he's right. In 2020, I was charging this and I'm only $10 more and I should be this. And that's it. I'm going to raise rates. And you just run with it. It could work out for you. But if you, and by the way, if you, here's another side of that. You might say, well, okay, I'm not going to do anything with my existing people. I'll just do it for new people coming in. And then I don't have to worry about it. Well, then you're leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table too. Then you don't know that it's not about how much are you going to lose. It's how much are you not going to gain by doing it.
You can have your cake and eat it too.
What's that?
You can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the issue with the industry. And you know, we can help you guys do this right. There's so much skepticism, so much fear, so much, you know, we're fighting against some of your belief systems, like data is fighting against some of your belief systems. So you don't want to hear it. You don't believe it. You don't want to believe in the data and the numbers because you think it's different here, or our town is this or that. And that's what holds you back.
Or I was just talking to a potential client the other day, and I said, well, Mr. Metzger said that his schools do it this way. Well, no, that wouldn't be Mr. Metzger's schools. That would be hundreds of schools that do it that way, right? So it's not about this is the way that I run it and this is the way you should do it because this has worked for us, so this will work for you. When he says data, this is data from 20 years or whatever it's been of Maya, right? Is that right? I don't want to misquote that.
Yeah, 20 years, but also, 20 years.
20 years of Maya. And this is, and listen, I'm just going to call it out. Like, for those of you that call, I'm going to call this out, and he's going to get upset that I do this, but I'm going to call it out anyways. For those of you that have month-to-month programs, if you're open-minded, you should give us a call because we will 3X and 4X what you can bring in on the front end of how you do your enrollments now. We can increase your retention rate dramatically and change your life and your business. I'm just going to call that out. Because I know, because I've seen it and I understand the data, but only, by the way, if you're open-minded and you're willing to make some adjustments. Because I've worked with people that think that they want to change and they don't really want to change. And there is nothing more frustrating for me than working with some, and by the way, nothing more frustrating for them. It's like having a student that walks into your school and you see the raw talent that they have and what they could be, and they don't come to class and they don't train. You're like, oh my God, what a waste of talent. Like, you could be unbelievable. This is what I see oftentimes when I see martial arts schools. Someone said, well, do you come to our location? No, I don't need to do that. Well, why not? Because I'm like borderline genius. No, it's not about being a genius. It's about knowing the numbers, seeing the numbers over and over and over and over. And like he said, he's going to go through data, but having the data to give you the decisions to get you to where you need to do this, because it's, I don't want to say it's not hard, because it will take some hard work. But some of the things that we do are so simple, stupid. It's just a matter of putting them in place and having a little bit of guidance and handholding along the way to make sure you do it the right way. That will change the trajectory of what you do forever.
Sorry. We have jobs. We have jobs in the martial arts industry. And I, like most of you, I started as a student, and then I became an assistant instructor. Then I became an instructor, and then I became an owner, and then I went to multiple schools. Then I became a manager, and then I became I branched into different businesses and run things. My job today, though, and then I became a consultant. That's where I was going. I became a consultant and started working with schools all over the world. But look, here's the difference. I'm going to just show you this because it's October 8th. It takes a while. So this just got put on my desk Monday. This just got put on my desk this week. I think it was Monday. Maybe it was Tuesday. But look, this is what I study and look at, regardless of my belief systems. And this is my job. And when I take this information that I'm learning and I pass it on to the clients and to the industry, then you got a choice. Do you want to believe data, or do you want to believe whatever it is you believe? But look, who else looks at this kind of stuff? So here's data, right? This sheet, this sheet, going all the way back to, if you can see it, 2011. And I have
too. Yeah, that was back.
I have every month of September from 2011 September, so I can get a snapshot of September from 2011 all the way to 2025. But I have that for August, July, June, and so forth. Then I have the Orlando annual broken down quarterly. I study the quarters, stats. And then I have year-to-date stats on every program and business that we have. And this is what I do. And when I look at numbers and I look at stats, by the way, this sheet by itself, this one sheet, has gross, net total, monthly billing, the difference from 2024 in that specific month, average quarterly revenue, new students, upgrades, renewals, active count, how many students were lost, what the student value is, and what the attrition rate is for every month this year, and then cumulative so far year to date of where we're at. There are trends with the quarters. Quarter one, I need to see trends. Quarter 1, 2, 3. I don't want to just see year to date. I want to see, is it this? Is it this? Is it this and this? I mean, and when we give you information, how do you argue with it? Like, you have to know that you can't argue with it. And here's your argument, by the way, and then I'm going to throw it to you, Tess. Here's their argument. I've done it. I've done that before. I've tried that.
Yeah.
And then you forget that it's not what you do, it's how you do it. Then you forget that, by the way, I tried grappling and training for an hour with Leota Machida last Wednesday. I know how to grapple. He would tell you, no, I don't. Right? It's not what you do, it's how you do it. He didn't get me in anything that I've never seen before. He didn't get me in anything that I've never done before. He just knows it better. He just knows it better. That's what happens when you train with the former UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, which, by the way, is known as a striker. And he comes in and still just, hurts me and beats me up a little bit on the ground. But my point is do you understand? I can't go to somebody and say, grappling doesn't work. I tried it. It's how you do it. That's the difference. Okay, Tess.
You've heard the expression, you're the sum total or the average of the sum of the 5 people you hang around with most, right? And I would challenge you in the martial art business world, who are you hanging out with, right? And look, this is going to sound really horrible, but if it's the people at your local tournament, everyone's puffing their chest and embellishing. The majority of people don't even know what some of the numbers are or phraseology is that Metzger just brought up, right? They don't know what student value is. I've had to explain what gross is to people. They don't understand what, not as in disgusting, as in what is gross revenue. Like, I've had to explain business terms to people. So we don't even know if everyone knows what those things are on those sheets. Like, well, what is an active student? What does that mean? Yeah, they're coming to class, or yeah, they're all, if they're paying me a monthly tuition, they're considered active. But how do you define what that is? Are you tracking your numbers? And by the way, some of you may be really good. Some of you may be good, and you're like, yeah, this is where it is. And then we do a trust, and we will validate. And we'll be like, you were spot on. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Things change over time. And I thought when we had a trial, I thought we were enrolling about 90% of our people from trial to enrollment. I would tell you, it could be further from the truth. We're at about 60%. 60% of the people that do a trial with us enroll into our program. Now, why is that? Because now my next thing I have to do is look at, well, why is that happening? Because we should have a strong floor. And if they're doing a trial with us, they should enroll. The reality is some of the trials should have never been trials. We have some 3.5-year-olds that came in and were like, okay, well, let's try it just to see. And they cry and they can't get on the floor. Or somebody did it and they did it because it was just they were looking for something to do, was low price. But the reality is 60% of our people are what the stats say today of people that do a trial go onto our program. Well, what can I do about that? I can cry about it. I can make up the number. I can say, well, no, it's really 90 because of X, Y, and Z. Or I can say, based off of the net that we're casting, which is a much wider net today than it was years ago. I want you to hear me when I say that for some of you old timers that used to rely on the yellow pages and walk-ins. Those were highly qualified leads, people. Like, they had to, you were not thumb stop. Here's the difference. Go put the flyers on the windshields at the parade. That's your thumb stop scroll Facebook thing today. So that's what putting flyers on windshields is like. Oh, they had to pull it out of their windshield, got irritated with me and looked at it, right? But the difference is people that looked you up in the yellow pages, that's similar to someone that goes on Google today. Right? But most of us aren't getting a lot of our trials from doing things like 2-week courses at an elementary school or the yellow page anymore. We've cast this much wider net. And these are people that really are more, I guess, suspects as well as prospects, but they're just not sure. And so the reality is look, yeah, we have 60% that we enroll from our trial now. Okay, those are the numbers. Those are the numbers. It is what it is, but at least we know, so now we can reverse engineer the math, and we can figure out exactly what we need to do to get to where we're trying to get to, right? And you just need to look at these numbers. First of all, understand that you need to understand numbers and track numbers for your school. You can't go based off of a gut feeling, because at some point your gut feeling will be wrong, right? Or you're going to get caught up in the, well, this is the way we always did it. Or the other one that I love to hear is, we pretty much do the same thing you do. At a glance, it would appear that way. And he said, it's not what we do, it's how you do it. Well, we charge $25 more for our upgrade. You guys do the same thing. Do you understand the hundreds of thousands of dollars in difference that statement will make, will potentially cost you if you think that you're doing it the same way? Because we said we charge $25 a month more for our upgrade, and you go like, oh, cool, we do the same thing. We must be doing the same exact thing. You couldn't be further from the truth. You might be close, but you could be worlds apart in the how you do it, which will generate literally tens of thousands of dollars in your school. And there's all of these incremental things that make a difference. And it's not because this is the way that we've always done it. It's because when we talk to hundreds of clients and we have hundreds of people doing the same thing, getting the same results, that's how we know. And this is what I love about what we do and about being in the position that I'm in, because we get to hear from so many people that, by the way, I'm getting busted on the tournament thing right now, because it just is what it is. But so many people that call us, tell us, and when we get to know them as a client, they're being honest with us because we're trying to help them. And when people are honest with us, we can understand more of the picture more clearly. And I will tell you that 95% of the time, it's always the same story. I need to bite my tongue and listen to you when you speak to me as a client, because I can already finish what you're going to tell me. Because why? Because I've heard the same thing hundreds of times. But oftentimes when we're talking to friends or colleagues, we don't really get the full picture of what's happening. And there's this appearance that things can be different, better, worse, whatever it may be. But if you just knew what we knew, because we're this conduit for hundreds of people, it would just be so much easier, and we could help you. We could literally help you if you were willing to get out of your way, and that's a hard thing to do. And one of the statements you should make in a Tony Robbins thing is you need to have, it's not change a pattern interrupt. You need to have a pattern interrupt. Yeah, we tried that. You should immediately slap yourself in the head and say, okay, tell me more about that. You should pattern interrupt yourself, because Great that you've tried that. Great that you've done it. But if you're not willing to do something different today than you did yesterday, you're going to get, at some point, you're going to get stuck and you're going to plateau. We can all reach a certain level doing the same thing with the same team or the same one or two people in our business until we get to a plateau. It's a fact. And that's where we're going to be. So you need to open your mind so that you can get to that next level. You can break out of that plateau. But some of you may be happy, which is totally great, by the way, as well. I have my 75 students. I teach in my backyard every Tuesday and Thursday. It's a sanctuary. I've got a koi pond and it's beautiful weather. And people bring me bags of rice. I mean, I don't know what it is, but if that's what makes you happy, then just go do that. But if you're truly thinking and you dig deep inside and you're just tired, like I'm just tired of hearing Metz and Tass. Like they're always preaching. They're talking at us and not to us and telling us what we should be doing. If it bothers you at your core, either A, stop watching, or B, go do something, take action, whether it's with us or somebody else, and see if we can help. Because that's why we do what we do, right? I know Metzger's got better things to do than sit down in the middle of the afternoon and have a conversation with all of you, right? Because, but I say better things to do. He doesn't have to do this for anybody, right? We don't have to take the time. By the way, I don't even know how long I've been doing this show. I want to say it's 8, 9 years, maybe longer. I don't even know. It's been a long time, right?
10 years.
10 years, Matt. 10 years we've been doing this show. You all understand, like, you should have a Harvard education if you've watched every show about the martial.
And today you're doing it from a diner, it sounds.
About the martial arts school. Yeah, I was got someone who's a little bit loud in the background. So here's the deal. She goes, I'm loud? She goes, did you hear yourself? But anyways, listen, we get passionate and sometimes I get frustrated because I can see what you sometimes can't see. For those of you that are parents, you get frustrated because you've already lived more years of your of life than your child has. And your child thinks they know better. And at some point you're like, okay, go ahead and try it. And you just let them go try it. Because they're going to come back to you and be like, yeah, you were right. Right? Like, I know, but I couldn't tell you. You had to learn that on your own. And this is why people oftentimes that will come to us who are stressed financially or in a bad place or in a hard spot are the ones that are most willing to listen because they have no other choice. And they're oftentimes, those are like the legendary stories that we hear, right? Like it's just unbelievable what happened to them because they came from nothing. They were at rock bottom. And sometimes you have to be at rock bottom to be able to bounce back up and get to a whole nother level. So I'm just, listen, I get excited. I get passionate. I get frustrated at times. I get irritated at times, not at individuals, but at what I can see and what I know is possible if we would just try, man. If we would just try.
Well, going back to the secret hack, here's one thing you can try. Sell programs, not memberships. If you charge, and here's a term example. If you charge 100 hours a month, make it easy. Just charge 1,300 hours for the year. That breaks down to 100 hours down, 12 payments of $100. That equals 1,300 or whatever you charge, right? But next year when that expires, you're going to tell people that inflation didn't take hold and we kept the rates the same. Do you want to buy that program again? Yes? Good. It's just 100 hours down and 12 payments of $100. So my point is if you sign up 10 people every month, and let's just pretend just so you understand the concept of this, you're going to do $1,000 in down payments, 12 payments of $100. But in 1 year from now, when you sign up 10 new students, a year from today, and you sign up 10, you're going to get $1,000 in down payments, but you're going to renew people from a year ago to buy the same program. You're going to get another $1,000 in down payments. So now you're getting $2,000 in down payments, 12 payments of the $100. But then next month, $2,000 in down payments because you renewed these 10, you signed up 10, but that number may be 3 for you. It may be 5 for you. I don't know what it is for you, but it's called cash flow and it's called getting money up front. But by the way, don't confuse that with getting more money. If you charge 100 hours a month that means you charge $1,200 for the year. Fine, take $1,200 minus $199 divided by 12 and do $199 down, $83.50 a month. It's the same price you're charging now, except you'll get $199 down times however many people, and then the 83. But every new student, every renewal, you'll get $199 down. I mean, there's a concept, and some of you will try to think you understand this, but again,
And then you're gonna say, I just don't understand that. So you're asking them for another $100 after they expire. Like you tell them, hey, by the way, you got to pay another $100 plus $100 a month, another down payment. No, that's not how it happens. There's a system and a way that we do that, and it's very, very simple. And this is what
charging for a program. Here, last thing I'll say, and then I'll let you go eat your steak and eggs. If your program was $100 a month, and you wanted to do a 1-year term, for example, that's $1,200. So if I got a tax return,
and here it comes, 1188. Is this what we're doing?
Right. And I said, look, I just got a tax return. Can I give you $1,188 and then just make a payment of $1 a month for the next 12 months? That's $1,200, right? That's the price. $100 a month times 12 is $1,200. But I just endorsed my check for $1,188, and then you charge me $1 a month for the next 12 months. What's going to happen at the end of the 12 months? Are you just going to renew me at $1 a month forever?
And some of them actually do that, by the way.
Or are you going to ask me to put, hey, Mr. Metzger, do you still want to keep your payment at $1? I do. I really do. Okay, well, remember last year you put $1,188 down because the program's still $1,200, and then it's just $1 a month. It's the same thing when you do the $199 down and the $85 a month or whatever it is. I mean, we could show you how you're going to increase revenue immediately.
And there's a lesson in there. And the lesson is, it always made sense to me, right? But the lesson is, it really over-exaggerate things and see if you look at things from a different perspective, right? And that's what that $1,188 example did for me, is it really made me look at the different perspective and go, oh, well, yeah, now it's like, it's just like a ton of bricks that hits you in the head. Like, okay, that totally makes sense, right? It's like one other one, and then we can maybe close out, right? If you want to increase your dollars that you make in your school, because nobody believes that retention really is a profit center in your school, it's one of the biggest, right? And so if you don't understand it, you're going to get crushed and you're going to lose students, and it's going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. In some of our schools, it costs them tens of thousands of dollars a month, by the way, when they first come to us before we get it fixed. But to that point, I'm using this as an example. If you had 200 students in your school and a 5% attrition rate, that means you're losing 10 students a month, right? The question is when you go in, and this is another exaggeration that you did, or different example, when you go into your school, I understand 5% attrition on 200 students is 10 students a month. I get that. But sometimes, like, our parents tell us things, we hear it the same way over and over and over. It doesn't really resonate or ring a bell. But if you say, well, listen, here's the deal. When you go into the school today, I just want you to pick out the 2 or 3 students today that will not be here next week, and they'll never come back. And the next week when you come in, I want you to pick out the 2 or 3 students that are never going to be back after this week. And then when you do that next, and you start to think of it that way, you're like, oh my God, at 5%, that's horrible. Like, I'd have to pick out 2 or 3 students a week that are never coming back, because that's the reality. That's what your attrition is, right? That's what you're losing at 5%, right? I should have used 4% for easy math, so it's just 8 students, 2 students a week. But you all understand that concept. And I don't care if you're 100 students with a 3% attrition rate in your school. The question is, for the first 3 weeks of your school, of the month, pick a student every week that's not going to show up ever again. That's a crazy number when you think about it. So don't accept 3, 4, 5% attrition rate in your school. It's the reality, but we have to understand it, and we have to work hard to get it better, improve our retention, reduce our attrition, and all these other things can help. And I mean, there's all kinds of cliche stuff. The people that pay more stay more. I can tell you all the things, and those things aren't just phrases. They're truths, because we understand the numbers and the stats over time. And it would be fun, would you call it? I don't even know, project, I would say. We opened up a martial arts school in Lake Nona, and we charged $79 a month for that school. And we said, okay, we're going to give it a year. I guarantee you that school is not going to have any more students than the school than this other school that would open in the same town. A year later, they're both going to have the same amount of students, give or take. It's just, people think, well, if I only charge $79 in the market, that's $190 a month. I'm going to have way more students.
Yeah.
Right? Not going to happen. And by the way, you did a test on that years ago by giving 3 months free.
Right.
Yeah.
So our area, one of my own schools, they were like, our people, we can't really do well because people can't afford it. I said, you know what? For the next 3 months, offer free martial arts. No catch. It's free martial arts from now to the end of the year. That was in October. I said, it's free. No payments, no down payment, no monthly. You don't have to sign up. Your payment, it's free. Put flyers out, market, it's free. He didn't sign up more students. You remember that because I told you when we did it.
I remember it. Yeah.
I think I'm kidding.
No. Because back at that time, you would have the meetings in your office at Avalon with the team, and it was recorded. And I remember watching that meeting.
Oh, is that where I did it? I did it on the meeting live.
Yeah. It was live.
There you go. So, all right, everybody. Well, Tass, thank you, my son. And I will touch base. I will talk to you, and I will see you in a week.
Yes, you will.
And there's the thing. Hey, if anybody on here is not with Maya Elite, not Maya Elite, we can't track you if you just go to that website. Read on it. If you're interested, reach out to us. We can help you. We can help you. Have you ever noticed that you're just not where you want to be in your business? And then have you ever asked yourself, why not? And do you blame whatever? Do you blame the economy? Do you blame the political climate? Do you blame, what is it that you blame? The only thing you can blame is yourself. I mean,
well, yeah, I was going to say, if you're blaming everything else, God bless you, because then that's a much easier life to live. Because if you start putting the pressure and blaming yourself, I know me, that's way harder than it is like, we're never going to do any good because it's the economy. So it is what it is. That's easy. That's an easy dismissal. You need to put the blame on yourself. And if you're not, you should.
You have no control if you put the blame out.
What was it? Three fingers are pointing back at me.
When you're pointing one finger out, did you notice the 3 fingers pointing back at you? Yeah.
That's right.
So, all right, dude, we'll talk.
All right. Sounds good. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right.